We're back with section 14.1, page 3. So now we're asked about bar graphs. And bar graphs can use either frequency or relative frequency data. So we're asked to, using the relative frequency data from example B, draw a bar graph. So we will be using the data from here, okay, our extra small, small, and so forth. Okay, so we're going to be doing that. And what we're going to do is along this side here of the graph, and I just made some graph paper just so it would be a little easier for us to draw. Along this part here, we have the shirt size. Okay, so we're going to write size down here. And along this part here, we're going to have the percent. Okay, so if you recall, what were the percent possibilities? Well, of course, we want to start at 0, but where do we go? As we scan them, the highest we go is 35. So we want to make sure that our graph will include 35. So if I start here at 0, and let's say I make each one 10, 20, 30, 40, that'll work. So why don't we start here at 0%? I'm kind of making that too small. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Let's do one that's easier to, okay, so 10%, this would be 0%, 20%, 30%, and 40%. Okay? So now we want to make a bar. So basically just a rectangle for each size that we have. So we have 5 different sizes. So if we do like a bar here, 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 and here, that's going to work out great. So let's go ahead and put our first bar here. So we're going to write extra small. And what percentage were we? 10. Let's remember that it goes 10, 15, 20. Okay, so the first one is 10. So we're going to draw a bar here. I should be using my ruler. Okay, and I'm going to shade it in just so you can see it nicely. Okay, and then remember we went 15. So the small, we're going to skip a space here and go to 15. Why aren't I using my ruler? I've got it here. Okay, so that's for small. And then we went up to 20. Okay, so this is medium. Goes up to 20. Okay, so does everybody see how we're doing it? It goes up to 10. This one goes up to 15. This one goes up to 20. I don't like how much I've shaded it. I want to shade it in a little bit more so it really stands out here. Okay, now we need the next two, large and extra large. So if we flip back over and see, those values were 35 and 20. So 35, so let's see, we're going all the way up to 35. So where are we going? Well, here is 30. We want to bump it up right in the middle there would be 35. Oops, over here though. Okay, so here and here. Okay, so that is, notice that it goes to 35, so that's large, and we're going to shade that in. Okay, and then one more bar was at 20, so we go here to 20, draw our bar in. Okay, so a bar chart, there's space in between the bars, okay? That's extra large, let's go ahead and label it, okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and pause the video, do your classwork, and then come back and we'll talk about histograms. All right, so histograms now, they can use either frequency or relative frequency data. So on this problem here, we're asked to construct a relative frequency table and a histogram using the relative frequencies for the data given. So the histogram is supposed to use relative frequencies. The ages of 20 Executive Corps volunteers who are advising young entrepreneurs. So here's our data. So as we scan through it, we want to make a table over here. As we scan through it, look at what all your values are. They're all in the 50s. So we know that when we make our table over here, we don't have to include any numbers that are outside of the 50s. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Okay, so we have our age, all right? And then we're going to go all the way from 51 to 59. So right a little on the small side. I don't think we had a 50, did we? No. It's 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. And then we need a total. I guess I wrote a little smaller than what I had to. Okay. This will be our total. Okay, so when we go through, we're going to do our frequency and we're going to count them. So that's abbreviation for frequency. So we're looking for 51. So here's 1. That's it, just 1. Okay, then we're looking for 52s. 1, 2, 3. Then 53s. 1, 2, 3. And then 54s. 1, 2. Okay, and 55s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them. And then how many 56s? No 56s, so we put a 0. 57, 1, 2. 58s, 1, 2, 3. And 59s, 1, 2. Okay, one way of checking to make sure we didn't miss anything, because it is easy to do, is to add them up. So here I have 4 and 3 is 7, 2 more is 9, 4 more is 13, and then 13 plus 7 is 20. So we have a total of 20. So that's a good sign. Frequency worked. We were supposed to have 20. Okay, now what did they ask us to do? To construct a relative frequency table. So first we need the frequencies. Then to get the relative frequencies, remember that's just a percent. So we've got to calculate a percentage. So how we have 20, so we're going to say 1 divided by 20, and that is 0.05, or 5%. Then we have 3 over 20, which is 0.15%, or 15, or 0.15 or 15%. Same thing again, so same answer. Okay, 2 out of 20 equal to 0.10 or 10%. 4 out of 20 is equal to 0.20 or 20%. 0 out of 20 is equal to 0 or 0%. 2 out of 20 is equal to 0.10 or 10%. 3 out of 20 is equal to 0.15 or 15%. And 2 out of 20 is equal to 0.10 or 10%. Okay, when we add these all up, we should get 100%. So let's see, that's 35, 55, 60, yep, that's 100%. Okay, so we have it all. So now we're asked to come up with a histogram. So we're going to go ahead and along the side here, we're going to represent our percent, okay, or our relative frequency. Okay, so relative frequency or percent, okay. And here, down here, we're going to do the numbers, okay, the ages. So we'll put age down here. Okay, so when we do our percents, how do we range? Anywhere from 0 is the smallest, looks like 20 is the biggest. So why don't we do this one? 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we'll put 0%, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%. Okay? Oh shoot, do you see what I did wrong? I put 0% up there. Okay, so go through and fix those. Sorry about that. Fix those really quickly. Okay, so this is 0%. This is 5, this is 10, this is 15, this is 20, 25, and 30. Okay. All right, so now we are ready to go ahead and put our bars in. So we're going to skip a space here, and we'll have the first bar represent age 51, 5%. So we're going to go like this, 5%. Okay, and we're going to put in 51. Okay, and then we'll shade them when we're done. Okay, what's the second one? 52, and that's 15%. We're going to put these side by side because they're numbers and they are right next to each other. Okay, so 52, and then we go up to 15 again. So we go to here, 53. So let's go ahead and just put all of these in. Okay, 54 is 10%, so we're going here, doing 10%. 55 is 4, so we're going all the way up to 20. Okay, oops. And then 56, that's the one that has nothing, so skip a space. And then 57 is 10%. Okay, 58 is 15%. And 10%. Okay, so we have here, oops, and here. All right, and then we're going to shade it in because you can see it so much better if we shade it in. Okay, we have a line that you can't really see. And in here, here. So, you know, hopefully you like the chart, the histogram. It gives you a lot of information real quickly when you look at it. Rather than looking at the data, hopefully you're finding it easier to figure out things. Okay? For instance, my question here is there any age not represented? When we look at the chart here, that's really easy to see that there's nobody in age 56 or younger or older, you know. So yes, we would answer no one is 56 years old. Whereas to answer that question looking here, you'd have to go through every single data point. Okay, we're going to stop there and pick up number 8 on the next video.